Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Brews, where we tell the stories behind your favorite beer. This is Sound Guy Ryan, and joining me, as always, is Matt and Erica and our new friend, Ralph.
That's right.
Dun, dun.
It's 10:30 in the morning, and that means we're on the road because we never do interviews at 10:30 in the morning.
Ever.
And we are already drinking.
Because that's
Why
what
not?
we do.
Yeah. Where are we today?
We are at Taylor Brooke Brewery.
Yeah, we're here with Ralph. What's up, Ralph?
Oh, not much. Just waiting for Bombagenesis today.
Yeah.
Classic New England.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
It's weird. It was really nice last week, and now it sucks out. So
Yeah.
The whole week, too.
Tis
the
New
whole
England.
week, yeah. I'm drinking this awesome American light lager, Height of Luxury,
Because it is the height of luxury.
which I think is a smart choice to start drinking at 10:30 in the morning. Just
Yeah.
have like I guess if you're
Start
gonna
luxuriously.
Yeah, if you're
right?
gonna drink early, you drink light, right?
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Got to get a baseline somehow.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess my baseline is the hazy IPA.
Yeah.
Delish.
All right, we're not driving. Erica's driving,
Boop, boop.
which is awesome. So yeah, this weekend I did not drink a ton, which is a good and a bad thing sometimes, right? Like when you have to work at like 5:30 in the morning on a Monday, you usually don't want to drink. But I did drink some Copper Legend from Jack's Abbey.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I feel like we're not going to see it much more with the upcoming like winter coming up, and we get those crappy winter beers with
Crap.
Nutmeg and...
I hate
Or
them.
delicious.
I
I
hate
don't
them.
know.
If you like them, whatever. But like, I don't
It's the New
know.
England palate, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, we'll ask your opinion on Ralph in a minute, but whatever. Other than that, I've been just trying to milk the Oktoberfest as long as I can.
What style of Oktoberfest are you drinking?
Marzens mostly, yeah, or Matzens. I don't know how you really say it.
Matzens.
Matzens, yeah.
Best beers.
Best beers, yeah.
Rustic,
that's different.
Rustic
Yeah.
lagers.
Rustic. I don't know. We had some brewery that like recently they on Instagram they were like, try our Oktoberfest beer, and it was like a double IPA, and I was like, what? Wait, what is going on?
It's funny because I did a Dunkelweizen.
Oh,
Yeah.
did you?
Nice.
Ale, I didn't do a
Nice.
lager.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It doesn't
Cool.
matter. I mean,
Yeah.
as long as people are in here enjoying it, I don't really care what you sell or
One of
yeah.
our breweries did Oktoberfest with the a lager, ale yeast. So
Yeah, that's cool.
Not really a true fest beer either, but it was cool. It was good.
Not true to style. I don't drink it. No, I'm just kidding. Erica, Ryan, Ralph, what did you guys drink?
I went into my fridge.
Did you?
Yep, I finished all the Oktoberfest beers I had.
That did not take long.
It did not take long. So I have to go get more before they're gone completely, because I know a lot of the breweries around where we are, pretty much they're all sold out
Yeah.
for the most part,
Yep.
which is not
They
a
did not
bad
last
thing.
long.
That is a good thing.
Bad for us, good for them.
Correct. But I did go to the city and picked up some shilling, which was delicious.
Yeah, which you chugged with my dad this weekend, which is
did.
hilarious. That
Yes.
you hung out with my dad.
That's
Yeah,
great.
I gave him one of their Pilsners. It was a German-style Pilsner. And your dad was like, I like this because it's not hoppy.
I've literally did not talk to my dad and then talked to Ryan. I said, I guarantee you I know exactly what my dad said. And
And that was
what
it.
he said.
Yep.
Erica, did you drink beer with my dad and I don't know about it?
I did
Or Ralph,
not.
did you drink beer with my dad?
No,
Not yet.
Not yet. Shit.
not yet.
Yeah.
It's stay
I like
tuned.
that. I like that. Not yet.
Yes,
Excellent.
I'd like to be optimistic.
It's a good salesman.
Yeah.
So I've been drinking actually Pilsner from Green State.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
And it's
yeah.
so crisp and so delicious.
Yeah. They make pretty good beers, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
nice.
What about you, Erica?
Me, I have like a bunch of IPAs I'm still going through my fridge, so I've just been kind of going through those.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work going through IPAs
Yeah,
when they're
it
like
is.
6%, 8%.
Yeah, I have a couple IPAs.
yeah.
That I had a Halloween party recently. Well, my sister had one. I didn't really attend, and all the people were drinking the IPAs, and I was like, "Thank God," because they were
Yes.
getting close to that.
Jacob.
Like they're not, they're
not good anymore.
Luckily,
Yeah.
my sister's friends are younger than me, and they don't.
They don't
realize.
know.
It's like-
yeah.
Like this is great.
Yeah.
and then
I can take
yeah.
diacetyl. I can take it. Yeah, sorry.
Yep. But yeah.
Yeah, so we're in Connecticut, and
Indeed.
I'm very excited because we haven't interviewed a brewery winery combo, which there were two separate entities, right? I mean, they are two separate entities, but it's
Yeah.
awesome to be on one spot
Same
and
location.
get the best of both worlds,
Yeah.
which is really, really cool.
And it's pretty too. There are grapevines in the background. You can see them, right? That's no,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
are.
I said it. I'm like, wait, I should double check.
No
this
grapes
first.
on them because we just finished.
Right, of course.
Yeah, the
ours is
harvest.
over.
Yeah.
But yeah, beautiful location.
Yeah, and not too far from our home state of Massachusetts.
Oh,
What,
really?
about a
It was in-
45 hour and a half drive?
For us, yeah,
us, yeah.
but not necessarily for everyone.
Not
It's an
me.
easy drive too.
Yeah, beautiful.
So-
50
Highway.
minutes from the border, so
50 minutes from the border. I
Exactly.
love
Heard
it.
it here, folks.
All right, so Ralph, we start our episodes with asking our guests their first memory of beer and the role at the brewery. So take it away.
first memory of beer.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be my dad with Old Milwaukee.
Well, at least it wasn't my dad hanging out.
Ice fishing. or Keystone or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
Yep, it's kind of like the lawnmower beer story, kind of.
Yeah, pretty much.
Awesome.
Cool.
Any role here at the brewery?
And basically, that really didn't have a role in that. It was just my first memory.
Yeah.
I mean, beer and its role here at the brewery started when I was homebrewing at Saltbox.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, so you have a history of you're a chef by profession in a previous life, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
High school, I went to culinary vocational in high school and hotel restaurant management after that. And then I went to Culinary Institute of America in Hyde Park. And then went to work in Boston for about 20 years.
Yeah, and you were at 9 Park, correct?
Number 9 Park, yeah. I worked for Barbara Lynch, all of her entities.
Yep.
Monton, Butcher Shop, B&G, Stir.
Yeah, so good restaurants, yeah. Restaurants I can't afford always, but good ones to go when you can.
Yep.
Talk about the culinary life and how that kind of differentiates from the beer industry.
Or is the same.
Or is there any same?
I mean, there's a lot of similarities. I mean, you see a lot of breweries and brew pubs that have restaurants in them, and it's pretty much the same thing. You're eating, you're drinking, you're comparing your food with what you're drinking. A lot of it from the back end is pretty much a restaurant. Our POS system is Toast, and they don't call us a brewery. They said, so what restaurant are you calling from?
Yeah.
And so we have to say Taylor Brooke Brewery or Taylor Brooke Winery.
Yep.
But it's all the same concept because you have the same energy, the same POS system, the same mentality of
Same hospitality.
Hospitality,
right?
yep.
Yeah.
We've talked to a couple of chefs who have gone on to open breweries, and I always find it interesting because I know chefs, friends that don't have any time. So how did you have time to homebrew? It's not exactly like a 2-hour thing that you just plug and play and then you forget about it.
So when I left the quote-unquote industry in Boston, I worked with my former chef de cuisine, Ben Elliott, who owns Saltbox.
Yep.
And he took over his family farm and was catering out of his house. And when I left, I basically became his farm manager and helping him cater. So we were farming, and on a farm, what do? You play around with things.
Yeah.
So we started growing hops, and we started fermenting things, be it cabbage for kimchi or anything like that, making cider. So what we started doing was just in between, just playing and having fun. You know, we were trying to grow the farm to be something more than it already was, because his grandfather had it. It was just a horse farm.
Yeah.
So Ben wanted to create a CSA. He wanted to grow things that we hadn't grown before, and try and make use of the land as opposed to letting it be fallow or just grazing for animals.
Yeah.
So after that, we actually started a cooking school on the property. So his grandfather built back in the 60s from reclaimed wood from a bellows factory. It was crazy.
Nice.
If you go to Saltbox, you got to go to the little house.
Okay.
Yep.
Noted.
So we basically put in a 12 burner stove, built a 8x4 island, and started teaching cooking classes. And then we actually started teaching homebrewing right out of there as well. So
Nice,
it became this kind of thing where we're just messing with recipes, whether it be cider or beer or anything like that. You know, starting like you start.
Yeah.
Brew in a bag or just extract or anything like that. So that's where all that kind of started. And having time for that, it was going right into the food world with teaching and learning and understanding. And it's the same thing with cooking classes or beer classes or anything like that. You're doing pretty much the same thing.
I always find it interesting with people who go from cooking to fermentation, right? Fermentation, sometimes you put in and you don't always get out what you expect. But with cooking, sometimes you can control things a little bit better. It's kind of a more immediate thing. Do you find that, or
It depends if you're talking about baking.
Yeah.
Baking is definitely that science.
Yeah.
Whereas just cooking in general, you can have your own take on it, and you can make it spicier or bring it in a different way.
Yeah.
You know, adding more herbs to a pasta dish as opposed to, okay, I'm making muffins, I can't add more things.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
So beer is that been kind of like a lifelong like side thing? Did you see yourself ever getting into the beer game, or?
No, it's been kind of interesting. I never really saw myself in the beer world. I always saw myself trying to learn as much as I could from any culinary experience that I've ever had. You know, I've been to Italy, I've been to Spain, and taking little bits and pieces from that bring to the culinary world. So it never saw myself trying to make beer. I mean, I always appreciated beer, always loved beer. I mean, it's delicious.
That's the best. Yeah. Talk about Saltbox. You were there for how long? About a year, 2 years?
About 5 years.
Okay, about
Yeah.
5
Yep.
years. So you kind of saw that place grow from ground zero to what it is kind of.
Yeah,
today.
so the catering was, you know, like I said, at the farm, and we started the cooking school there. And then, you know, Ben, he was looking for a brick and mortar spot for a restaurant. So what happened was, you know, we were like, why not just make a brewery?
Yeah.
So we created a restaurant. We created the brick and mortar spot for the catering company, because the catering company was the mainstay of who Ben and what Saltbox actually is.
Yep.
And then in a 10 by 16 room, we made a brewery.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a small. I mean, I think
It's a
that might be
tiny
the
space.
smallest brewery in Massachusetts. I think.
Yeah, it's funny because we would go to Brewfest and, you know, the power station in Boston, and we'd be right next to Sam Adams. That
Yeah.
was the biggest brewery and the
Yeah,
smallest brewery.
Right.
So you cut your teeth there, kind of learn trial by fire almost.
Yeah.
You're now here, so
On a much larger system.
on a much larger system
Yes.
and a
Yep.
much larger space.
Yes.
What sparked the move to Connecticut? I mean, we don't have to get into any dirty details, but I just why are you here now?
There was always going to be a transition to try and get into my wife's family business, you know. So the winery's been around for 17 years now, and it was to, you know, just trying to make a business plan to try and expand what Taylor Brooke was,
Okay.
and trying to create something, not necessarily in the middle of nowhere, but out in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
to create something.
Draw more people in.
Yeah. And the fermentation world from the wine side is it's a little bit the same, but completely different at the same time.
Yes.
and it makes it fun. I think coming to Connecticut, it wasn't going to be a 10-barrel system. It was, you know, the idea was like, okay, let's start small. Like, let's do what people do, like a 2-barrel or a 5-barrel or something like that.
Yeah.
So when creating the business plan for here, it was taking on what everybody had learned at the winery, and being that every year we would have to grow. You'd have to get more tanks, or you try and create more space or anything. So creating the business plan was to grow into. So having a 10-barrel space, we could always do half batches. We could always,
Yeah.
you know, have our pilot system to try and test new recipes, which is basically the same system that I used at Saltbox, a 1-barrel
Right.
system.
Right.
Right.
Couldn't mess that one up.
No.
But it's been interesting.
Yeah. So do you find yourself like you're here, right? I mean, is it just you as the head brewer, or do you have a team?
Yeah, I've got a team. It's me as head brewer. I've got Dan Gregoire, who I actually hired him at Saltbox like 3 times.
Nice.
And when I left, he took over a position that I was in, be it director of operations or head brewer, because I was doing both at the same time.
Yep.
Then he was doing both at the same time. And then I also have cellarman. So it's a very small team.
Yep.
Because when I hired Dan over here, he's helping me with a little bit of quality control. He's helping me, you know, and he's also selling and distributing our beer.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. Do you find you work more hours at the brewery than you did in the restaurant industry?
Not necessarily. It all depends on what I was doing. You know, if it was in Boston, absolutely not. You know, 16-hour days in restaurants is not compared to a 10-hour day
Right.
here.
Yeah.
Even if you mess something up in the brew house and you have to start over, or you have to clean everything again, or whatever happens, accidents happen.
Yeah.
So it's tough in the sense of you're moving a lot more as opposed to just standing in the heat and cooking.
Standing on the line. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And, I'm not getting younger.
All right, so before we get into this beautiful space, because honestly, we were driving up here and I was like, holy shit, this is awesome.
It's a great
Yeah.
space. Yeah.
We have a word from our amazing sponsors. So, sound guy Ryan, cue them up, play them loud, and hopefully people buy some of their stuff.
Did you know that your favorite Massachusetts breweries use hops from a local family-owned hop farm right here in Massachusetts?
Our friends over at 4 Star Farms are there for you whether you're a commercial brewery or a small batch home brewer.
Make sure to head over to their website today and get your hands on some of the best and freshest hops available locally. Cheers.
At our local homebrew shop, Beer and Wine Hobby, you can get everything you need to make beer, wine, cider, cheese, and more. Not sure where to start? They have knowledgeable staff there to help. Beer and Wine Hobby is family-owned and located in Danvers, Massachusetts. Visit their website, beer-wine.com, and use our promo code BREWS for 10% off your online order today.
Shirts on Tap is the box subscription service for craft beer lovers. Each month, Shirts on Tap partners up with 7 different breweries from across the country and collaborates on a sweet custom shirt design. We've been teamed up with Shirts on Tap since the inception of the podcast and are proud to announce a new promo code for all of our listeners. To get your first shirt for $5 off, go to the link in our description below and use the promo code. And remember, drink better beer, wear better shirts. Oh, goodness, we're back. Goodness gracious, we're back. I don't
Goodness
know why.
gracious.
So we're in Connecticut. If people are tuning in, halfway through, they took a little break from
how
our
would you do
episode.
that?
I don't know. Like sometimes I listen to podcasts and I'm like,
You skip to the middle?
No. But like I forget that I was at this point in the podcast. And then when
you pause and come back later.
and then when the guest welcomes me back in, I'm like, oh wow, I'm back. That's so nice. Have you ever had that transformative moment with a podcast?
I don't know that I
Yes.
have.
Yeah.
Probably with ours, I guess.
Yeah, you listen to ours? That's awesome. So, Ralph, we were talking about, like the grueling long days of working as a chef, and you're saying that it's easier in the brewing industry. Not always,
Right.
but that's good to hear because a lot of people say, like,
Noted.
I work really hard. I came from an engineer to being a brewer. I think you came from a more...
Yes.
Yeah.
Completely different. I'm used to
Yeah.
standing in clogs on
Yep.
cement for long hours and still do.
Yep.
And, it's not that I'm just brewing. It's, whether or not it's running a business or running the front of the house, because that's what we do. We want to have the complete guest experience. Yes, I made the beer. I can say that I made the beer and then walk away and not talk to anybody, but you get the guest experience. You find out what their likes are, their dislikes are.
Yeah. So you're behind the bar oftentimes as well.
Behind the bar, washing
Yeah.
dishes,
Yeah.
washing glasses, anything like that. So, but it's a long day. So to your point, coming from a different industry and doing this, even from the front of house standpoint,
Yep.
it's a really long day.
Yeah.
I would say like Untap is similar to Yelp. I mean, I'm air quotes. Like I don't want people to like crucify me for saying that, but in the culinary industry, people, I don't know if you guys are looking at Yelp or like.
Do you guys hate Yelp
phantom-
as much as you hate Untapped?
No, but like the bridge to that is like,
I'm not allowed to go on Untapped.
okay, cool. I wanted to get there. Yeah, like
I was never allowed to
Noted.
go on Yelp.
Yelp. Okay, cool. So like, do you care? Like, you don't care about that, or like,
or do
beer
you care
advocate
too much, and that's why you can't go on?
I feel like I'm not supposed to say anything about either of them.
You can.
Good.
Because
Noted.
they both suck. It's fine. Fine. We can skirt that one. We'll go around that one. But how do you solicit feedback? You said you were behind the counter. This brewery being here, you guys what? Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, we're open on Thursday.
Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. So you guys have that kind of limited window to solicit feedback, people coming in. How do you say, like, this light lager that we're drinking is the best light lager that I ever had? Or, what?
It's from a guest perspective, it's, creating basically a situation where you can talk to somebody, because somebody's not going to say, this is the best light lager I've ever had, and then you go into detail because you don't have the time to talk because
Yeah.
you're busy.
Yep.
But if you're doing table touches, like in a restaurant where you go say, how is everything?
Yep.
You can get more of a sense. Are they going to be honest? Maybe.
Yeah.
I do get a lot of feedback from looking on Untapped from the comments.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
usually see a lot of tasters
Yep.
because we offer 5 4-ounce pours, and they'll go rifle right through all of them and rate them. So that's a little bit of a
Yeah.
indicator of how we're doing.
But doesn't it piss you off when someone's like, I had their sour and I hate sours? 1 star.
Well, yeah, I mean that's kind of bringing yourself out of the box to just say dumpy things about things you don't
Right.
even like
Yeah.
anyways.
Right.
So that is pretty hard.
Yeah.
I haven't really noticed too much because, like I said, I'm not on Untapped all the
Yes.
time. I actually make people like Dan go on Untapped and tell me if there's anything either positive or negative.
Right. They
Yeah.
should
As
know
opposed to me
about-
looking at it directly because
Yeah.
people do make dumbass comments to those points.
Yeah. It's interesting because you are in an area that's not heavily like populated, so this becomes like a destination for people to come to almost, right? So
Yeah.
do you find people going to the winery first because it has not like more an established name, but it's been around for longer, right?
Yeah.
And then do you see like people coming over here and they're like, oh, I was just at the winery. I'm wine drunk, so now I'm going to get beer drunk. Like,
Well, it's more of like, oh, you have the wine here as well, because we have now a new license in Connecticut called the Craft Cafe license. So I'm able to
Ooh,
sell
Craft Cafe.
other industries alcohol. Like I can sell anybody that makes wine in Connecticut, anybody that makes distillants and
oh shit,
Oh,
get the hell
that's
out. That's awesome.
any
awesome.
ciders. The only
Very
thing I
cool.
can't sell, get this, beer. I can't sell other people's beer
Really?
from the Craft Cafe.
What?
It's fine.
Antiquated laws.
That
No, I'm
doesn't
just
make
kidding.
any
It's not
sense.
even antiquated.
No, I
No,
know.
it's a
Here.
new one, right?
I know.
I mean, that's great that you're able to do that, but that's crazy that you can't sell other people's beer.
Yep. I don't know why that's there.
I was gonna say, is there a reason? There must be some
It's
stupid reason.
Lobbyist did something because
Yeah.
somebody else wanted something.
I wonder if
Sure.
other breweries didn't want that to happen. Do you think like they were like, oh, we're gonna just sell our own beer, like? And then if like Joe Smo makes shitty beer, but he sells Lawson all the time, like
The only thing I can think of is distributors, maybe.
Yep.
Because distributors not wanting you to sell other people's beer,
I
which
guess.
in just like in the restaurant industry, you want to promote other restaurants around you. You want to build a culture of what's actually happening, what's real.
Right.
And the same thing with the beer world. I'm not allowed to do that now. I can't say, here's Black Pond's awesome milk stout or
Yeah.
whatever they're
Right.
awesome they're doing.
Yeah.
Which is weird because now I can do it from cider world. Like,
Yeah.
hey, here's Stafford Cider.
You can promote everyone else.
Awesome cider. And we actually make this wine, and I can now sell it to you because I have this craft license.
Yeah. That's crazy. So do you sell or do you offer wine in the brewery and vice versa? Does the winery offer beer? So I know you're in 2 different buildings.
Yeah. So the way it kind of set up right now, there's not enough room up top. That's the expansion part.
Yep.
Yes.
So when we built this out, we had good size tap room. So we want to take the brunt of all the business. So if we give them the beer world up there, they don't have enough room to serve it
Yeah.
or have people sit down and
Enjoy
it.
Right. Okay.
So down here we've created so we can offer all the wine. So they don't have. It's actually a convenience. They don't have to go back up there.
So up there it's only wine, but down here is everything.
Correct.
Okay.
Wow.
That's cool.
The only major difference is they are offering wine tastings. So
Right.
the personalized experience. of going
Someone
through a
actually has
tire
the
list.
knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whereas
That's
down
cool.
here, I would just do 1 ounce flights, and yep, this is like a Pinot Grigio. Yep.
Yeah.
have fun. Which is not really.
Right.
This is New England wine.
Yes. This is New England wine.
Yeah.
Yes, there is quite a difference.
What's the busy season for you? Is it the summer and the springs when?
We opened in 2019, and 6 months later, the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
So we were busy.
Yep.
And then we weren't. So then when we basically were able to do takeout, curbside pickup, it was kind of busy. When we get a 70-degree day in global warming, February,
Yep.
Right.
this place was completely filled.
Awesome.
Parking lot was filled. The upper parking lot was filled. Our
That's
grass
awesome.
was completely full. So that was busy.
Yeah.
But that was in the middle of winter. It's not really.
It's not a good barometer of it.
Yeah, no.
And so
It's like that random Wednesday at a restaurant that's like, why the fuck is it busy right now? Yeah.
And then 2020, there was, everybody was stuck inside. They couldn't travel. They couldn't go to the next state.
Yeah.
Right.
So when 2021 hit, we're expecting summer. Here's summer.
It rained.
Come to the brewery.
That's right. And it rained
was-
every day.
It was almost a trifecta. There was rain the entire month of July.
Yep.
and everybody went to the beach.
Yeah.
They went to the White Mountains. They went up to Maine.
Yeah.
They weren't here.
Yeah.
So as soon as the kids went back to school,
Fall season was crazy.
that's our busy season.
Good.
So
Yes.
we just had are still having our busy season right now.
Yeah.
That's great.
And we're afraid of winter.
No, but I think you build the foundation of like what to expect, right? So people love to drink, right? Like whether it's wine, and you have all of those offerings, which any brewery in Massachusetts you go to
Would die for.
would die for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, that's twofold. Yeah. The guys like to drink. So if, here's my wife wants to drink, but she doesn't like beer.
Yep.
So she either is not going to go or not drink.
Yeah.
Right.
So
No, I'm in a very
Best of
similar
both worlds.
situation. My girlfriend does not enjoy beer, but seltzer, cider, wine, whatever. And speaking of which, seltzer, is that something that you guys get into or not?
no, I've talked about it just from a market standpoint where the industry is, and we're not big enough to bring the price down to be able to distribute, because that would be the main thing to do is trying to cut into the market share.
Yep.
We're not that big.
But you did have sparkling water, is that right? Or no?
Yeah.
Such as sparkling water, like CO2 filled water. That's
Yes.
that's nothing special. Yeah.
No, not really. But
No, I can put sugar in it and
Yeah.
flavoring in it,
yeah.
and it's just NA. So
Yeah.
which is fine.
Yeah.
But doing a hard seltzer, no, I haven't. Going back to your point of going to guest interactions, I haven't had anybody actually ask for seltzer. It's always
That's-
cider.
Do you think
Impressive,
that's
actually.
Do you think that's because you have all of those offerings? Like in Massachusetts, do you think
True.
if you didn't have that ability to say like we offer cider, we offer wine, we offer spirits, people would be like, well, do you guys have seltzer?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. It's hard to put yourself in that
Yes.
situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
If I didn't have cider and if I didn't have wine, they would want something else.
Yeah.
Right.
But I find that drinking a hard seltzer, not that I've had one, is kind of this cliche. They just want to get drunk.
Yeah.
It's fruit flavored or anything like that. Craft seltzer is weird to me.
Yeah,
It's very.
It's like an oxymoron almost, right? Like craft seltzer.
not saying I
Yeah,
would never do it.
Yeah.
Just, it's weird, and if I were to do it, it would try and make it a little more funky than it is.
Yeah. We talked to someone who made it into like kind of
an artisan approach to it. So they
Yeah.
took more like flavor based. They wanted to be like a cuisine focus on what they were doing.
Yep.
So whether it's like a pina
like
colada,
mixed drinks.
yeah,
Like pina colada, which makes it, like you're saying, much more exciting, I guess.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Different.
Instead of just being like, I have a peach seltzer, or
Yeah, I put flavoring in
Yeah,
water and
extract.
carbonated it. Yeah. Yeah.
so we haven't talked about what you're offering here. We talked about the wine, we talked about the other people's stuff, but what do you have on tap?
I have a lot of things.
Yeah, let's
That's
talk
awesome.
About it. Let's talk about it. Yeah.
Let's hear 'em.
Everything except for seltzer.
Yeah.
So we actually do an American Light Lager. It's 4.2%. It's
Yeah.
called Height of Luxury.
It's
You guys are
delicious.
drinking.
Love it.
It's 100% Connecticut grown ingredients.
Oh, it's
Cool.
awesome.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
So it's 50% corn, flake corn, and
Yep.
50% Pilsner, all from Frall Family Farm out in
Very
Windsor,
cool.
Connecticut.
Nice.
They do awesome malt.
Yeah.
Do you get a lot of your malt from them? Like, do you use that in other of your beers? as well,
I'd
or-
use it in seasonals. A lot of the farmhouse that I do. I just made a Berliner Weiss yesterday
Oh,
with
fuck
it.
yeah.
So I've got flake spelt in that
Ooh,
and
nice.
Pilsner in that. And then I'm actually going to add 50 gallons of our Coeur Noir juice to that
Whoa.
after this primary fermentation is done.
Yeah.
Nice. Maltsters get like a underappreciated role in the beer industry. Like I don't think like people realize all the work that goes into that.
Oh yeah, no, it's crazy. I mean, I haven't been out to his place, but the farm's been around since the 1600s.
Oh, wow.
But he's been around for 5 years or so, and it's fabulous stuff. I mean, you see his stuff from Kent Falls to a lot of other breweries in
Yeah.
Connecticut.
Yeah.
That are
Yeah.
using, actually, I think some in Massachusetts as
Yep.
well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
What else on tap?
So I've got 4 IPAs, New England IPAs. I got a Royal Coachman, which is all Sabro hops, so it's total coconut bomb right there. Artful Dodgers, a double, 7.5%. No Room to Swing a Cat. It's our flagship IPA.
I was going to ask, I've seen those stickers and things around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to have a flagship, and whether or not it's a flagship or not, you got to have it.
Okay. Noted.
Yeah, so it's all Citra hops and a cool logo.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
definitely,
definitely,
was.
yeah.
Yeah.
You Bet Your Bippy, which is all Toika hops, so
Fun.
citrus and mandarin orange and that kind of flavor.
Yeah.
I just came out with a farmhouse ale. It's a mixed fermentation farmhouse ale. It's called Woodstock Raison.
Ooh, fancy.
It's like a perfect segue to Erica's question.
Oh, yes. I guess we can lead to that. So I've been thinking, do you use the wine must, grapes in your beer as well? You must tie it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great experiment that we're kind of working on. The brewery's only 2 years old, but there's a lot of history in the wine. So the Woodstock Raison doesn't actually have our grapes in it, but it's a project that, is my wife is the winemaker. So it's a project that is both wine and beer world. So she said, I'm getting these grapes. Do you want some? So that's the start of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what am I going to do with that? So what happened was she made a rosé from it. So a free run rosé from Petite Sirah.
Yep.
And then she actually used the skins to make cider.
Oh,
shit.
that's
So
cool.
So I was like, what am I going to do to one up that?
Yeah. What can I do? Yeah.
I can't do any free run rosé. Damn it. I can make beer.
Yeah.
So I actually made an ale base only like 3% with Thrall.
That's cool. Yeah.
Thrall's Pilsner. And then I added the Petite Sirah grapes.
Yum.
And I used 2 different yeasts to do that. So it's kind of the mixed fermentation.
Very cool.
Then I took cider from Woodstock Orchards just down the road
Blended that in.
and blended it all in,
Yeah.
let that kind of chill. And then I inoculate or pitched
Yeah.
Yeah. Inoculate works too.
Brett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brett,
Same thing.
and let that kind of age a little bit. In separate fermentations, I took some of our it was our Frontenac Gris and our Cayuga grapes and did basically just farmhouse versions of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not with anything else. So what happened was when I go to taste the base ale, it was, it's missing something. So just like the wine world, you get to blend
Yeah.
into. So I was able to take some of that Cayuga and some of the Frontenac Gris fermentations and mix it in. So it was interesting because
That's
it was you're finding yourself, this is beer? Is it? It tastes
I know.
really grapey.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you add the Brett compound to it, it adds a lot more complexity.
Yeah, for sure.
That's cool. I love that. And you have the obviously perfect space opportunity to do that.
I am curious. What about barrel aging? But
But
you're gonna have to hear from our sponsors first.
take it away.
Cheers.
Are you a solo artist, band, podcaster, or anyone else who needs recording services?
Well, we got a place for you where your vision can become a reality.
Welcome to Small Pond Studios, built by hand with heart and sweat equity by musicians for musicians.
Go to smallpondstudios.io to reach out to get more information. And make sure you let them know that Brew sent you. Hey, Sound Guy Ryan here. Didn't know if you heard, but we're a part of the Hopped Up Network. There you'll find other informative podcasts about beer. So go ahead, follow them on social media, and visit them on their website, hoppedupnetwork.com, to learn more about the people, beer, and breweries from around the country. And until next time, thanks for listening. Cheers.
We should just do fake ads like that.
Oh, we should.
Keep the toilet paper in.
Yeah.
Yes. Fully
You ever drink too much and shit your pants? Well, here you go.
Stop drinking Budweiser.
yeah.
I had a Budweiser for the first time in a while at your house, and it was pretty good, I have to say.
I drink Bud.
I have to, I can't talk shit. It's all right. I don't want to chug them, but
I went to the bar just down the road Saturday night, and I was like, can I get a PBR? Like, what?
yeah.
Okay, I'll take an Allagash.
Yeah.
No, but the thing is I hate to say, you can't have filet mignon for dinner every night, right? You want
You
sometimes.
can't?
Sometimes you want peanut butter and jelly, man.
Oh.
Sometimes. Maybe you don't, but I do sometimes, yeah. That's my Budweiser or a Narragansett, I think.
Cool.
You're good to
Great,
start.
great stuff.
All right. Well, I suck at drinking beer, apparently. Everyone hates me because I said I like Budweiser now, but
I never said that
yeah. Thanks, Ryan. We're buddies.
because you got that Budweiser from my house.
That's right. That's right. We're going to talk about a more delicate and protected beer, the barrel aging. Do you barrel age at all here?
No.
No?
I do not.
Do you have plans to?
Uh,
Possibly.
maybe in the
He's looking
future.
around.
Maybe
Yeah.
Yeah, right. When he finds space
the
for
space is a little tough.
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So when we get a normal year of not having COVID and
What is a
having
normal year?
restrictions,
Yeah.
or a full year of
Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe, but it's at the winery. We're not barrel aging. We're not oaking in barrels.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That would be a different story. If
Yeah.
we were already doing it, and
Yeah.
I could just
Take the barrels that are already existing.
Right.
Yeah.
exactly,
Right.
exactly. We do some barrel aging up there, but that's strictly for our brandy.
Okay.
So it's very minimal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, what's next for you? I mean, I know let's get a year under our belt, but like you got to be thinking like of expansion, and you've been looking around. So,
Fill in the space.
Yeah.
Well, it's not necessarily expansion. It's more of ramping up more production more consistently. It's not been, like I said, a complete year. So, we were ramping up for a busy distribution summer, and the liquor stores weren't selling anything because there was nobody around. So
Yeah.
we couldn't sell to liquor stores.
Yeah.
So having space for that, I had too much beer at one point. I want to get to a point where I have too much beer, but it's going through it.
Right.
As opposed to,
Sitting there.
yes.
Yes. So you are distributing just in Connecticut?
Yeah, that's what our permit
Cool.
says. Yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
Being part of like the culinary industry, do you have like connections to get your beer in restaurants better? Is it easier to self-distribute that way because of connections you might have?
Not necessarily, because I don't know the restaurant owners in this area.
Okay.
And most of the restaurants that are around this area, the price point doesn't fit.
Okay.
There are a few that are higher end, not necessarily fine dining, but more towards fine dining that will be able to support what we would like to charge for half barrels. And,
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Bogs. Not to say that we won't create something that would be cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, is there an outlet for that?
Right,
Is there
right.
people that want to do that?
Exactly.
Right. We were kind of going through the tap list. Is there any styles that you just like will not touch?
There was, but I am touching.
Okay. Yeah. Which one was?
It's basically the dessert beer.
Yeah.
Like pastry stouts.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Pastry stouts, they boggle me because you're taking something and you're not deconstructing. You're just putting
You're
it
adding
in
things to
there.
it,
You're
right?
just putting it in there. So you're taking something that's already made and then you're just throwing it in like it's a dumpster.
Yes.
It's not.
That's a good way to describe it. It's a dust.
So it's, take that ingredient and what do you have? You have the chocolate, you have the sugar, you have the nuts, you have the coconut, you have all the adjuncts
Right.
that you would automatically buy already to put in a stout that we were already doing before.
Yeah.
But now you're doing it at the end
Adding
and you're
more
keeping it
and-
sweeter and more
yeah.
of it, which is gimmicky and fun, but it's soul crushing. So
Keyword gimmicky. Do you feel as though like milkshake IPAs or lactose IPAs, fruited sours, gimmicky as well, or?
No, I think it's fun to play with these things. I feel that taking somebody else's brand and saying you're adding their brand into we're adding Oreos to our,
Yeah.
you're taking that name already and
Yeah.
creating it. So
You have to say cookies and cream. You can't say Oreos.
Right, it becomes a little gimmicky to me. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, I've made a
Gotcha.
Samoa beer because it was
What
Girl
it
Scout
is,
season.
yeah.
So, and it's all marketing.
Yes. No, definitely.
For us, I make a lactose wheat ale.
Okay.
And then I add more sugar to it at the end. So I actually take our honey. Our vineyard manager makes honey, so we take that and add to it, and I add peach puree.
Cool.
And I'm never going to put that in a can.
Yeah, it will explode.
Smart.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But people that want sweet wine or sweet beer or desserts,
Yeah.
they love it.
Yeah.
It's right up their alley. It's not necessarily a pastry stout, but it's
Right.
I call it dessert beer.
Yeah.
Do you find that brewing is oftentimes just marketing? You're just trying to stay with the trends?
It has to be. It has to appeal to people, and that's part of marketing and part of gimmicks.
Yeah.
Having a cool name like You Bet Your Bippy, it's
I love it.
it's people will go after it just for the
Yes.
name alone.
Yeah.
They don't know
Yes.
what's in it.
And they make their own interpretation of what it means.
Yes. Yeah. So
Yeah. What does it mean?
it's from Laugh-In. It's a show in the 60s,
Okay.
70s.
Don't you
And
know?
the actual term was called, they said, You Bet Your Sweet Bippy.
It was your sweet baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's actually what we named the dessert beer.
Oh, that would make sense.
Ah.
Nice.
So do you do any collaboration beers?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. I'd like to. And it would be fun to do it with breweries that are close to us.
Okay.
Well, we will be talking to a few today.
So it's not out of the question.
Not another question. You're still young in the industry.
Yes.
The tap space right here. How many beers on tap do you usually have at any point?
I have 12 taps on the big bar.
Okay. Yeah, you have 2 bars.
I've got
yeah.
12 on the small bar, and
Nice.
I've done most of the time I'll keep 11 or so. One stout, which is our Stogie Hollow, which is our milk stout. It's always on nitro. And then the mainstays, No Room, You Bet Your Bippy, Artful Dodger are always up there.
Yep.
And then we'll have a seasonal. Our seasonal now is our Dunkelweizen. And then I have Rip Rap, which is a Imperial Stout.
Do you have a cider on tap as well?
I do. I have Sanity from Stafford Cidery. Crazy Cock.
Nice.
Cool name.
Great name.
This place is beautiful. I mean, do you host? Do you have parties here, wedding parties or birthday parties?
Yeah. We try not to take reservations because we want to be consistently open to the public. It's hard to go on the many things that are on the Google machine and see if you're open or not. And
Right.
trying
Yeah.
to say that you're closed and put it on all those
Yeah, it sucks.
places, it's horrible.
Right.
Yeah.
Even just going onto Google and trying to change your hours.
Someone needs to make an all-in-one app that you can just be like, we're
Yeah,
closed.
right.
You can have that idea. We would help so many people.
Yes,
yeah.
please take it and run.
It's called a telephone call.
Yeah.
Right. Weird.
Weird, huh? Wait, the phone that's like
Phone works
yay
like
big?
that?
Yeah. Oh, you mean my iPhone's a phone? Weird.
That's just a computer.
Strange.
Yeah.
We have Bull Rush. That's our Belgian wit.
Ooh.
It's got Grains of Paradise. It's got bitter orange peel and lemongrass in it.
Oh, wow.
We
Love
actually
it.
grow the lemongrass here.
Yes.
That's awesome.
So growing a lot of the ingredients and kind of keeping it local,
Yeah.
that's important for the team here.
Yes, it is. And budgeting standpoint, we can't just like go out and mow down the land and plant things. We don't have that kind of capacity because
Yeah.
we built this place. And
Right,
we've got
right.
to pay some bills to get
Yes.
there first.
Yeah.
So it's slowly but surely, we'll spot farm. So we'll do some lemongrass here. I've got some blackberry plants planted. I've got a plot of cilantro to get the coriander.
Nice.
So I'll do some kind of coriander beer when I decide what
It's
that
ready.
is.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. So I'm guessing your beers are culinary driven, right? Because of your background, right? I mean, you don't just like wake up in the middle of the night and like, I want to make coriander beer.
No, it's hard because the New England palate wants the New England IPAs, the pastry beers, and everything like that.
Yeah.
Yes, that's culinary faceted, but it's hard to say that. It's keeping me up at night saying I want to put almond joy in this beer. I really do.
I really
Yeah,
do.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
But how do I work my way around that? It's kind of hard. So I don't grow coffee beans. I don't grow
Oh, you don't?
cocoa or
Shit, yeah.
anything like that. So it's
Crazy.
from the New England standpoint, it's kind of hard. So I have to work with what is either farmed or foraged around here, and in the fall is when that mainly will happen. So with using the vineyard for what we can use and surrounding ingredients. So it was last year, and pretty much every fall I make farmhouse ale, and then I add sumac to it.
Oh, nice.
Last year I did a wild version where it was just making the ale base and basically
what
pouring
happens.
it right on top of the sumac, and
Yeah.
it came out wonderful because sumac in itself is lemony and citrusy,
Yep.
almost sour, and whatever wild yeast was on that sumac made a great sourish
awesome.
beer.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool.
So I want people to come to your brewery. So where are you physically located?
We are located in the middle of nowhere,
Oh, right.
the
Just
quiet
GPS
corner
that?
of
Yeah.
Connecticut. So it's 818 Route 71, Woodstock, Connecticut.
Woodstock,
So it's about a mile from Woodstock Fairgrounds,
Okay.
Yeah.
just across the street from Treehouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to get into
right.
that. Like, listen, there's no disrespect to Treehouse, whatever, but was that a little weird for you all? Like, all of a sudden, Treehouse is opening across the street from you.
I mean, initially, yes, it becomes, because we're in the middle of nowhere, what does Treehouse want to do anything with here? But I understand what they're doing, and it's not bad. It's good. I mean, would I want to be Treehouse's waiting room? Absolutely. Come to Taylor Brooke, and if you can't get a spot over there, come have a beer here first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to compare us to it.
Yeah.
But it's just like if you want to have a beer trail, you have to have breweries around.
Right.
Exactly.
And there's really not too much around here. The closest brewery to us is 15 minutes away, and that's Bare Hands in Putnam.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great that we can say go here next.
Yeah.
Where are you headed next? Because it happens with wineries as well.
It's building that culture, that community.
Yeah. Because you want to create something that's a destination, but you also want to do other things. So if we're not able to get food trucks all the time, where are you going to go next? Go to this restaurant. They've got a brewery right next door.
Cool.
Or
Yeah.
if they're already there, they say, where are you going to go next? Go out to this awesome brewery out there. They've got a winery.
Yeah.
So it creates a culture of destination and activities. So for Treehouse to be here, it's good.
Yeah.
I actually had a guest on Sunday, basically at Treehouse, and they said to themselves, I think there's a winery around here. So they actually came here, and then they're like, oh, they have a brewery.
Oh.
Yeah.
They came in. So
Yeah.
I had a long 15-minute conversation about
awesome.
cider with them, and
Yeah.
talked about cider in New York. It was good, and
Very cool.
them having a heightened beer culture and having a culture of fermentation like cider and everything like that, and having that clientele come to us, it's something that we don't see around here because we're not a major city, or we're not a major beer place around here.
Yeah.
Right.
People like beer, they'll come here,
Right.
but it's not necessarily they're searching out the most dankest
Yeah.
IPA.
Yeah.
They're like, what do you got? I want a Bud Light.
Yeah.
Right.
I noticed there's no kitchen here. Is that on purpose, or is that the kitchen over there?
It's a catering kitchen.
Catering kitchen. Okay.
Nice. Okay.
Any plans to have like full farm to table kind of style, or?
For me to cook, that would be adding another job. So
Yep.
I don't necessarily want to do that, but I think I'd like to get my food license and do small food offerings and then have guest chefs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
It's a good idea. Yeah.
We actually did, so Last Green Valley does a Walktober, and it's Thirsty Thursdays, or I can't remember exactly what it's called, but they do it during October, and they pair farms with chefs with places to go.
Oh, cool.
So we did one with Azaluna Farms, and the chef did 3 different dishes and basically served it here, and we paired it with beer
Yeah.
as they were coming in.
That's
It wasn't
awesome.
necessarily a sit-down dinner, but it was
Still
basically
something.
supporting a nonprofit, Last Green Valley, support the environment, and supporting farms. So chefs get to work with farms. They were a chef and a farm, and they get to highlight different places. I think coming up now soon, they're going to Black Pond.
Cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So will we be?
Yes.
Well, Ralph, thank you for doing this today.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I have any more questions. Sound guy Ryan, Erica?
Yeah, sure. I'll ask.
Yeah.
So sometimes we like to ask. We usually like to ask. Just depends who asks it. What would you like to learn more about?
Would I like to learn
And that's
more
as
about?
general as you want it to be.
It can be fishing if you want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly. It's definitely hard. I mean, more about the science of brewing.
Mm-hmm.
That would definitely take some money because it's
Education.
it's education
Yeah.
and it's equipment and buying better equipment to test things and things like that.
Cool.
That's a hard question.
Yeah.
It is.
But that's a good answer.
That's
I
fine.
mean, to not know is kind of like you keep an open mind for anything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I've coming from the culinary world into this world and being a business owner now, it's you have to have an open mind. I want to learn about everything,
Yeah.
Right. Right.
even Untapped.
Yeah. No, you don't want to learn more about that. They
You
need
don't.
to change a lot of things about Untapped. I said it, not you. So don't give him shit. Give me shit. So thank you for doing this. We want all of our listeners to come down to Connecticut. There's a lot of great breweries down here. So if
Yeah.
you make your way down to Connecticut, make sure you stop at Taylor Brooke Brewery and the winery, because who doesn't
Why
like to
not?
Why not? But seriously, who doesn't like to get a little wine drunk, a little beer drunk, and have someone else drive?
Yes, please be safe.
Be safe.
Thanks, guys.
No problem. Thank you for doing this. All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.